Hey guys, this is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far. Yep, I'm drinking my fat coffee. Today was my 20-hour fast. I got a 4-hour window to eat my meals. My last meal tonight will be around 6. So I'm having my protein fat coffee today. So in that 4 hours, I'm going to try to get as much protein as I can without overstuffing myself. So I can normally get around, I don't know, I'll probably hit 112 to 115 grams today, which is my fasting day. On my non-fasting days, I'm hitting between 160 or 180 to 214 grams a day because obviously, Emily and I are trying to still add lean muscle and take off even more body fat. And that's kind of what the subject's about today, guys, is I'm kind of playing off the last video I did. So this is for those of you that are 40, 50, 60 plus and who are looking to not only lose that belly fat or body fat, but you're also looking to add lean muscle. Because if you're following me, you know that by exercising and doing resistance training to add lean muscle, that it's going to escalate that hard to get off belly fat or hip fat or back fat or love handles, whatever you want to call it. And so I wanted to play off my last video a little bit more because this is a big issue with seniors is, I'm in all these different groups and stuff, but the seniors are missing the boat here. They're just not getting the right information and they're not getting what they're looking for when they're trying to lose that weight and add the lean muscle because nobody's really educating them on the process it takes to do that. And what science has actually found out. So science has been researching seniors for a while now. I remember a research I read about 3 or 4 years ago where they actually went into a senior citizen, what do you want to call them? I guess they're apartments. Anyway, they went after the older ones, and they wanted the ones that basically have never really exercised at all, or never really wanted to put on any lean muscle. Age was around, I don't know, I think 70 to up to 90. And what they did was they introduced them to a meal plan, and then they had some personal trainers in there that were experienced with seniors. And they even took some that had some medical issues also. And what I remember is that I think it was over 18 weeks, I think this whole thing went through. And from what if I remember right, is that the ones that stayed with it, obviously people are going to fall off, but the ones that stayed with it, their lifestyle changed. They actually added lean, they proved that they could add lean muscle and at the same time lose that belly fat or body fat. These are the ones that stayed consistent, stayed with the plan, and because they saw the results, some of them actually saw it in a pretty quick pace, and so they were obviously motivated to keep on going. But the ones that stayed with it, all of them, didn't matter what age that they were at, actually felt better, added lean muscle, and lost belly fat. I've got a client that I've worked with. I worked with a couple of last month. I think she was 80 years old, and we introduced her to our program, and she did some moderate exercising. I don't mean you have to go out and go crazy and power lift, and I'm not talking about. I'm just saying get out and do something. Resistance training actually shown by science is to be the best way to do it, but if you're not able to do that, and then you can do some stuff around the house or go for walks. But she has lost most of her weight when she was overweight, and she's basically in the best condition that she's been in years. And what's really cool is she went back to bowling. So she was able to do something that she loves to do that she couldn't do before because she changed her lifestyle, which is great. So the topic I was talking about in my last video were senior mistakes. If I remember what that video was about, I think it was meal planning, have a structured meal plan. Hydration was the other one. Those hydration and eating the right meals are probably two of the worst ones that seniors make mistakes on. And then of course the third one is that you need to get out and do some kind of resistant weight training. I didn't say cardio, I said resistance weight training. That's the key. The reason for that is it affects the seniors' hormones. See, what the other thing is the seniors make is that they don't eat enough protein. So that was another topic I talked about. This is an issue that most seniors make when they jump into trying to get in the best shape of their life, or they want to start putting on lean muscle. They've been told by their doctors or nutrition or whoever that they got to be careful about the amount of protein they eat, even though they're healthy. So basically what they were saying was, if you're not having any kind of kidney issues or anything, then you have no issues about improving your consumption of protein. And even science has proven that seniors who do go into a higher protein meals, it does not affect their kidneys, and it does not overwork the kidney either. It's more of a myth than anything else. And obviously, if you have a kidney issue, it's not just in seniors, it's anybody that's got a kidney issue. You got to treat the issue. You got to treat the root cause, and yes, you need to change the food you eat, and you may have to back off or have a certain amount of protein until that kidney issue has been reversed, which a lot of them can be. But if you wait too long, you've got kidney failure. And so what I mentioned in my last video about the seniors adding lean muscle and losing the fat at the same time, that I talked that there was some science out there talking about this. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm actually I pulled up some of my research that I have in my PC that relates to what I'm about to talk about, just to show you that I'm not blowing smoke, or it's not coming from me, it's actually coming from real abstract science. Now, you guys know when I talk about research that has an abstract on it, that is actually a published research. Some of those researches takes a long, long time to be published because, why? Because they're spending time researching. That's the idea of publishing it. It's not like what we're doing here on the COVID-19 thing, where they just went ahead and saw some good results and then popped it out there. The FDA hasn't even approved it yet. No, this is not that kind of research. This is real research that they have enough logical information from different sources to show what they were researching is actually true. Okay, so it's basically talking about now for seniors. Your biggest thing is not only is having the right structured meal plan, eating enough protein, hydrating, and exercising, doing some kind of a strength training exercising. What you're also are doing, and what you need to do, is you need to balance your hormones. Seniors, because of their lifestyle, most of them, their hormones are tanked. So if your hormones are tanked and you're not doing anything about them to get them in balance, and you're wasting your time, you might as well not even do any of this because it's not going to work. Hormones play a major part, especially your growth hormones. Now, on these group sites that I'm on, I've heard people say, well, the doctors are saying because I'm older, my growth hormones are so tanked, or my testosterone or my muscle building is so tanked, I'm not going to gain any lean muscle or anything like that. And in a sense, they're right, because you're not. But is it a dead end? No. You can increase your growth hormones and your muscle building hormones at any age with the right program or the right structure. Science has already proved that. And I'm going to show you here. There was some research done by the British Journal of Sports Medicine. And this research was based on human growth hormones in the elderly when they introduced them to resistance training and, of course, increasing their protein intake. And it was a very well guided research. So what they did, the research was done on seniors that were 74 plus. And this research was done in a 12-week period. The research was to determine the resistance training effects and production of growth hormones in seniors during resistance training and adding lean muscle. So what I've done is I've taken the information, that's what I'm reading to you now, is the information from that actual research. So the subjects were assigned to either resistance training sessions per week. So some of them were doing 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 repetition maximum per session. And what really made this particular research very beneficial is, how did they know that they were increasing lean muscle mass? Because that's a question that you should ask. Well, this is what they did. They took muscle biopsies, were done, samples were obtained 24 hours after completion of the last training session. You can't get any better documentation than that, can you? And so samples were immediately frozen. They were frozen in a liquid nitrogen and stored. This study also demonstrates that older muscles are able to upregulate, this is important, you seniors out there that want to slow premature aging, this is how you do it, right here. Upregulate both IGF, growth hormones, in muscle in response to a period of prolonged resistance training. So what that means is the seniors with the right personal coach or the coaching, because you obviously don't want to overtrain, and you obviously don't want to lift too heavy a weight. You got to have a structured workout program that works for you, that will document your progression of strength. Now, you're eating a protein plays a huge part here, because seniors, like I said in the last video, seniors do not metabolize protein as well as they did when they're younger. And that's why science is saying that seniors need more protein than our younger counterparts, because we don't metabolize them as much. I mean, I'm doing, like I said, I do maybe on my non-fasting days, 20 hours or 23 hours, I might get 114, 120 grams a day that day. But on my non-fasting days, I'm hitting 214, sometimes even higher. Now, my platform is supposed to be 214 on non-fasting day. Sometimes it's 190. You got a window of play there. But you have to, in order to build lean muscle mass, you got to feed the body. Not carbohydrates, not what I'm saying. You got to feed the body what's going to help build the muscle, and that's protein. The study also, let's see, growth hormones, muscle response, okay. In summary, the study demonstrates that elderly people can, this is not me, this is science, this is a research that they did biopsy to see that they were actually adding lean muscle. In conclusion, or the summary demonstrates that elderly people can upregulate IGF I in muscles as a result of high resistance training. High resistance training means weight training. That's what it means. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to power lift, but you have to have some type of resistance. You got to put some type of resistance on your body safely to your body type. And you need to increase the resistance as you're able to. And you don't want to jump up too fast. There's no need to. You got plenty of time. Oh, if you're 80 years old, I guess who knows? We all have no idea what time we're going to be going home. So basically, this research pretty much debunks what a lot of health professionals are telling the seniors, that they need not to do any kind of resistance training, or they need not to increase their protein because it's going to cause issues with the kidneys. I've just read another research where one of the guys out there, one of the top trainers out there, he actually said, you have to be careful how much protein you're taking, because too much protein can actually turn into glucose or sugar. And honestly, it does, but it's not the word too much. Now, I was even wrong on this until I did my investigation on it, to come to find out that there was some research done a while back where they took seniors and gave them 160 grams of protein. Now, what I'm talking about clean protein. I'm talking about grass-fed or pasture-raised, grass-finished meats. Eggs were pasture-raised. Milk is pasture-raised. We're not drinking milk that has A1-casein. We're drinking milk we're doing dairy products that has A2-casein. You guys have heard me talk about this. But they did some research where they actually gave some of the seniors 160 grams of protein at one sitting. And I've always been taught that's wrong, because that protein is going to turn into fat or turn into glucose and then stored as fat. Now, sorry guys, but that's not true. It doesn't happen that way. Okay? So that's one research there. There was another research done by the Journal of Physical Therapy Science, and it also did one similar to what the British Journal of Sports Medicine did. Strength training improves the elderly's muscle mass. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to, I mean, if you seniors out there get your hormones back up to track, back up to where they're supposed to be. I'll be 69 here in about a month, I think. And my growth hormone, or my muscle building hormones and testosterone is, I'm at an 18-year-old. My wife is 66, and she's at an 18-year-old also. That's where we want to be. Why in the world? I mean, you go do a blood test with your family doctor, or with a doctor who's not a hormone specialist, and they do your blood test, and they call you back and they say, well, let's see, for your age, your testosterone level is 286. That's good for your age. That's BS. That is not good for my age. My testosterone's that low. My estrogen's high most of the time, and I'm a candidate for prostate cancer. And besides, I don't want to have testosterone of a 69-year-old. I want to have a testosterone of an 18-year-old, so that I can help to slow premature aging. And I want to keep adding lean muscle as I exercise, which is what we're doing. Okay, so anyway, so the Journal of Physical Therapy of Science actually did one like that also. Now, let me talk about the high protein myth, okay? Just a little bit, but we're almost done here. A lot of trainers, a lot of health professionals are saying that you eat too much protein at one sitting, it turns into fat. Well, what they mean actually is that you eat too much protein, and what your body doesn't actually utilize will be converted into glucose and then stored as fat. And actually, that's not how it works. You've heard me in my past videos talk about glucogenesis, okay? Now, what glucogenesis, let me explain to you what glucogenesis means. It's a metabolic pathway that results in the generation of glucose from certain non-carbohydrates from breakdown of proteins. Gluconeogenesis is one of the several main mechanisms used by humans and many other animals to maintain blood glucose levels, avoiding low levels of hypoglycemia. So our ancestors, we all have that mechanism in our body, and our ancestors did. So what that means is that if you're eating a high fat, moderate protein, very low carb diet, and you're fasting at the same time, then what the glucogenesis does, and I'll read the other part of this, is that before it goes, now understand that you have ran out of glucose or you ran out of carbs in your body because you're on a low carb diet. You're doing a keto diet and you're combining it with either alternate day fasting or intermittent fasting. And so what happens here is that you basically have been fasting for 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours, however, and you haven't had any carbs during that whole time of fasting. Okay? Well, eventually, over a few hours, you're going to run out of carbs or glucose. The carbs are converted into glucose. The glucose is the easiest thing for the body to go after, to use as energy to support and maintain your body to function. Well, you haven't had any carbs for 16, 18, 20 hours or 23 hours. So where's the body going to get the glucose in order to maintain itself? And for the brain has to have glucose. So our ancestors, they didn't have they didn't have stores to go to. They had to hunt. Oh, sometimes they go 2 or 3 days without any food at all. They seem to always have enough energy to chase their food down though once they found it, right? Well, the body's pretty intelligent. God put this mechanism in there to support the body until it can feed itself. And that's gluconeogenesis. So what happens is you've consumed a bunch of protein, and you're doing a very low carb diet, and you consumed a bunch of protein, and all of a sudden your glucose bank account, which is, you've got some glucose stored in the muscles somewhere around there. That bank account is now depleting because you haven't had any carbs in a while. And the body needs some glucose for the brain to operate and other parts of the body. So what does it do? It activates gluconeogenesis, which means it takes some of that protein that you ate or you overate that's being stored in the body. It went after that excess protein. It's now pulled it out of where it's being stored, and then it's converted into glucose. What's really crazy is it does the same thing with your stored body fat. So if you don't have enough protein stored up in there, then it's going to go after your own body fat, and it's going to take your fat and actually convert that into glucose also, and that's how you lose weight. So in actuality, the glucose or the protein that you're consuming that you may be thinking you're overeating, really you're not, because what your body doesn't use at that sitting. Now you guys can't go crazy about protein. You got to figure out your grams per pound. You have to figure out your grams per day to add lean muscle and to keep losing fat. Okay, you have to figure that out. And I'll probably do a video about that one of these days. But anyway, you got to figure it out so you have a baseline. You got to have a baseline there. That doesn't mean you have to hit it every time. No. But it just means that's what you need per day in order to keep adding lean muscle. Because like I said, if you keep adding lean muscle, you're going to burn more fat. Okay? So, in other words, what happens here is that we're going to disrupt that myth that health professionals have always brought up, that the excess protein that you are eating could possibly be converted into glucose and stored as fat, and that's not how it works. I explained why. Guys, I'm at a body fat percentage I've been at never have been at it. Actually, when I was at 7th and 8th grade, I've never been this lean before. And some days, I've had meals where I've had like 60 grams of protein per sitting. And back in the days, that's when they would tell you, your body can only assimilate 28 to 30 grams per sitting, which is probably about right. And if I'm having 50 or 60 grams per day, where's the rest of that protein going? Well, it's going in storage. But remember, I work out 5-6 days a week, and we do interval strength training. We need that extra protein stored in our body to help build the lean muscle that we're trying to develop. And we're also want to make sure that our muscle building hormones levels are up. We want to make sure that our growth hormones are up here doing this all day. You guys, most of you, morning, it starts to go up. And then at a certain time in the morning, you start eating your food. It drops down and it drops way down. It stays flatline. Then, just before you go to bed, it comes up for a little time, and then it drops down again. Emily and I, and those of us that are doing this type of lifestyle, our growth hormones are up here. Yeah, we'll dip when we eat, and then when we're fasting, it comes back up again. That's what fasting does, just like that. And that's where we want to be, okay? So guys, I hope you saw some value in this. I hope it helps you understand a little bit more why seniors need to do things a little different than the younger group out there. Also, I'm getting close. I'm probably 3/4 of the way done with my cookbook. It's taken a lot of time. This was a 2 or 3 year project that I've been working on, and so it's taken me a while here. I don't know how much longer it's going to take, but it's going to be a little bit longer. But I'm getting closer, and these are some of my favorite recipes over the last 2 or 3 years that I've put together, and I'm putting those in a book form, and this is for my clients who purchase one of our packages or courses, online personal coaching courses or packages. They'll get this cookbook for free because this is going to help them on what types of fat burning meals they need to stay within their fat grams, protein grams, and carb grams. So guys, I'm on my next video. This is kind of be related to what I'm doing here. It's 5 things seniors must do to lose fat and add lean muscle. And I'm actually going to put 5 of the main things that you must do as a senior, 40, 50, 60 plus, if you're looking to lose that belly fat or butt fat or leg fat, whatever fat you want to lose, and at the same time, I'm not talking about separate times, at the same time, adding lean muscle. These are the 5 main things you need to do. And these are the 5 main things that I'm seeing most of these groups that I belong to making mistakes because they're not doing them. They're not even bringing them up. And so that's why they're having such a hard time as seniors adding lean muscle and losing the body fat. It's really, guys, one of the main root causes is going to be your hormones. So you got to get those in check. Okay. So guys, you can go to my Facebook page, Fat Loss Made Easy. I have a free ebook in there for those of you that are looking for to lose weight. It's called The Beginner's Weight Loss Mistakes. Those of you that are diabetics who are looking to lower your blood sugar naturally without medication, I have a free ebook in there also for you guys, and I also have in there some fat burning recipes. So go take a look at it, join up, and I hope to see you guys in there. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you at the next video. Have a good one. Bye.